Ooh, a good old-fashioned just regular marine rush? Oh, man. Snap. I like it.
At least 3 Rexes, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen 4 Rex in a while, but I feel like even that's almost a possibility here. But I guess 3 Rex with bunkers is a bit better.
And that is going to start the series off with definitely a bang. Pretty committed attack here. It would have to, it'd be a very awkward scenario if this actually ended up going into a macro game where it killed just enough drones to actually be worth going on home. But that is a possibility with an orbital actually being done. So Vanya's first sight on this rush is going to be with this Overlord. 1 SCV might have been a scout, 2 SCVs and a Marine. You know what's up.
Wow.
You don't know if it's a 2X or a 3X quite yet. But, I mean, the committal, you got to put that spine crawler down, start building up those lings. Gonna try and pull the drones, stop the bunker initially, but this could be a tough hold on the high ground.
It's a lot of drones that he immediately pulled, and what I did like by Vanya is that he sent 1 drone to the low ground before he even saw this. I don't know if that's part of any build order or if he does that just in case he wants to get the spine up as quickly as possible. I gotta say, so far, this is not looking too good for Vanya. He does finally get 1 SCV. There is still an SCV remaining, and this Marine count is high.
Yeah, and this SCV is going to finish up that bunker, so at least one safe place for these Marines to go into, but the problem is that there's just going to be so many more Marines. They're producing 3 at a time, even finding the Overlord that is not actually a spot to hide. Okay, don't quite find it, and it is worth tearing down that spine crawler. That Overlord might have actually unintentionally helped the spine crawler a little bit, but there's still so many Marines here. The spine crawler seems inevitable. He loses the Queen, thinking that it's out of position. He hold positioned it. And that is a mistake right there. Lings are getting hit by both sides, bunker and Marines on the left. They tuck themselves into a corner, and that is actually it.
I just. Let's get Wardy in here, okay? Wardy's got some explaining to do. What have you done?
Yeah, exactly, Wardy. Jeez. I don't know if Marinelord got a tip, that Vanya might be weak against the triple racks, but doing it twice in a row, I actually think it's fantastic. I said that Vanya might have to start consider drone scouting, and by drone scouting we mean sending it across for the proxy racks. But I mean, 1, okay, who does this twice in a row, right? There's always that thought in your head. And then 2, those are pretty far out. So that really should have been the first Overlord, kind of going a bit more to the left. That's what's supposed to see it. And now, I mean, Vanya should bring that second Overlord back to do the same type of scout he had last game, which is right in front of his base, so at least you can see the bunkers being built. But if he doesn't do that either, if that Overlord's actually not going to come back, then this could be even worse.
Should we have all seen this coming when Marinelord vetoed Ice and Chrome?
Clearly he wanted smaller games, short games.
It all suddenly makes sense. The guy who loves mech vetoes one of the best, maybe the best mech map in the map pool, and starts 3-rexing. Once again, we have that very early drone, but now the Overlord is so far out of position that he doesn't even see these SCVs coming in yet. Bunkers will go down immediately, and Vanya is once again going to be in trouble. This time he's going to go for the spine crawl on the high ground, but this is going to be so tough, because how does he prevent this bunker from finishing up? That's going to be so difficult.
Yeah, yep. I mean, gosh, it's so awkward too, because the bunker really is quite close to the ramp. At least on Golden Wall, you could get things down the ramp to try and help out, but this is actually going to cover all reinforcement points. It's actually going to get on top of the spine crawler before it's finished, and this doesn't look great for Vanya. He's forced to pull the drones to protect that spine crawler, but it's already half damage. So when more Marines show up, they can even try target firing it.
Yeah, this looks like an absolute disaster. That Queen is now alienated as well from the main base. The spine crawler is so low on HP, like you just said. Vanya might just go for the massive pool of everything, but this is pointless. Vanya has to understand that this is pointless. That's not enough Zerglings. I feel like, was it Sue who did this a couple times, right? Who just makes an insane amount of speedlings, and then he eventually tries to overwhelm this, but that Marine count is insane. How do you even break that?
Yeah. Looks like the spine crawler wouldn't have been able to get that high ground on it, which would have been so much more ideal. Brings it down to the low ground now without the broodlings and a transfuse or 2, so it will get a couple of shots off. Ling count is quite high, but not with the speed quite yet, so can't support the spine crawler.
No, this ain't it. Spine goes down, or Queen goes down as well. I mean, the speedling count is very high, but there are still 4 Marines in that bunker, and I even think the Marines that are tucked in between these mineral patches at this point are doing more than fine. But even if those would have gone down, then you still have to worry about the bunker. And I think this is it. Vanya's got absolutely nothing. He's got 2 army supply, which is a 10 HP Queen and Marinelord. I was so focused on the minimap that I was like, what am I even trying to say over here? I'm like, is he sending out any SCVs? I'm like, I'm still doing an intro as well. Damn it, focus, but it's okay. I'm happy to see that all the SCVs stayed at home. And now we can actually talk about all the things we normally talk about.
I'm looking forward to this one now that it can finally actually start and we don't just get to immediately talk about the lack of scouting, which, by the way, Vanya is, oh man, his Overlord went every which way there'd be a 3 racks of Internal Empire and didn't find any. Because finally Marinelord decides to go for a 1 rack expand.
I feel like the moment you see that first SCV, your heart still does skip a beat. You're like,
with a faster 3rd CC, Marinelord is setting up for a bit of a later but very powerful push. He's not going to completely delay his starport. You can actually just add on 2 barracks after this, in fact, if you really want to do it that way. But certainly a bit of greed. And that's a bit of a risk against a guy who is known for his cheeses. Nice start from Marinelord with that creep tumor denial.
Yep, obviously the games don't end on losing a creep tumor, but all of these things really don't help the young Russian here. Of course, Vanya got some experience under his belt with his great run at Remake Masters Summer, but this is really starting to feel like a obviously disastrous best-of-5. And that is actually a relatively quick lair as well, 3 minutes and 40 seconds into the game. So Vanya's not gonna do any of that evolution chamber stuff before he starts stacking up. Just wants to get into lair ASAP.
It looks like Marinelord with a scout on the Bailey Nest position. I would say it actually strongly indicates that it is that Spire build. And I think they understand each other. So we're going to be waiting for those mutas to pop out and actually start controlling the game a little bit more. This Viking should be the first scout. Well, that's not a wall quite yet. All right, and gets right in there. Not going to get much more scouting, but yeah, that's nice to confirm, I guess, it's engineering base. Marinelord's going to go straight up to an additional 3 barracks. So yeah, we do call this an 8 barracks attack and very dedicated as well. So we've seen Marinelord do well with this build before. I didn't think it would happen on Internal Empire, but not that it can't happen. And also just recently, I feel like I've seen so many more Terrans not do this build. Vanya's going to have to be aware of this possibility, I guess, because I think that does change up how eager you are to take some risky fights if you know that they are also pretty dedicated.
Isn't it a bit crazy there's not a single missile turret in the main base? It felt that if the mutas would have gone underneath the 3rd of Marinelord and just fly into the main, and at least Vanya would have been able to find a little bit of damage. At this point, he was just sharking around. Maybe he's going to try to do that this time. The main is definitely where he wants to be.
Yeah, it kind of feels like when Zerg players skip a Spore Crawler because they're like, oh, my queens will be there, right? But then occasionally they aren't actually there, and the Oracle swoops in and kills everything. So it is a bit dangerous, but I guess the other argument is that, you know, for instance, now if he had gone into the main, there's so many mutas, they're about to have +1. One listener doesn't actually help you that much. Marinelord's hoping to put all of the pressure onto Vanya's side of the map, and Vanya wants to buy some time, already missing the opportunity a little bit, but he's trying to get a run-by set up. A decent number of Marines are already at home, but is that enough?
I'm actually pretty worried here by Vanya because he's going to lose a couple of mutas. Really wants to get the turret, does not get the turret, but there are so many Marines knocking on his front door. The Hellions have morphed into Helvets as well. The initial Bailey connection is not that bad, though. That's perhaps more than he could have hoped for.
Yeah, it's not too bad, but I feel like it's already... It just kind of sucked that Vanya already gave up so much creep spread. Like, his creep spread was actually pretty good, and now it's entirely gone without really threatening the Marines. That is worrying, and Marinelord is not going to stop pushing into this. The mutas are going to try and find a tank, but are denied. He's also trying to set up a bit of a surround. He's going to collapse in. It's mostly off of creep, and his Bailey number is pretty high. Can they actually reach the Marines? The tanks, you only get too many shots, and they're focused on everything at once. And this is going to be a partial cleanup at the very least, but the thing about the 8 racks is that if you don't entirely clean it up, it quickly overwhelms. It snowballs so hard, so fast, and that was not good enough for Vanya.
No, nowhere near good enough. It looked promising, but the mutas really got absolutely nothing done. And Marinelord smells blood. He just keeps on staying forward. His 2-2 upgrades are about to finish up as well. Vanya never even started 2-2 upgrades. Vanya's making 7 mutas now, which I think is a bit ambitious. Does get somehow a good Bailey connection there. And the hatcheries are still alive, but Vanya needs to somehow get a whole bunch of Lings and Banes out. I don't really know what the mutas are going to do here.
Yeah, they can't really do much, especially with 2-2 finishing. I mean, these Marines, even in lower numbers, are going to be able to tackle the mutas, finding one of them, 2 of them. I guess finding the reinforcements, as it is an ant trail, maybe they can do something. But Vanya, I think, is just desperate. He never really got to play his game. And even though Marinelord gave him 9 minutes in this game, I don't know. It just felt like Vanya should have, you know, done a roach attack in the first game and then I don't know, like a Nidus from the second or something like that, and then maybe we talk about this game and it being a more even score. But he didn't get to play any game. It felt like this game included. It just never felt like his game.
Utter and complete domination coming out of the French Terran player. Is going to stim forward one more time.